Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brendan Housler with EVOQ Bike. So I want to talk about some things to think about before you pack it in on the interval that you're failing. The wheels are coming off. You're thinking, screw this. I'm done. I can't do this. I had an athlete that completely bailed on a workout that was slightly harder than one he had completed just 7 days prior. And he had just put in the comments, another fail. And that to me, oh, boo-hoo, poor me. Okay, before we get into this, for those of you who might be new to the channel, this is sort of how the podcast started. I love cycling training, racing. I talk about random little tidbits. This one is not an interview, not a conversation, just something that hopefully you can take something from this to make your training better. All right, this one was a longer over-under session. I believe it's one we put on the blog. It's one of my more favorite ones. It has a 3 to 4 minute hard start. So you're doing some VO2 max power, you go into an under, and then you have about, depending on your level, 10 to 15 minutes of over-unders. The exact details aren't super important. He had an easier one the week before that he nailed. Aces, okay? So I put in the comments on this, I'm going to be tough on you a little bit right now because you are saying, oh, another fail. And I'm like, what is he even talking about, another fail? It's just so overly dramatic if the wheels are falling off. And I'm not here to knock this athlete, but to hopefully encourage you to think more critically about this, okay? Why would he think this is a fail, and why did he not try and take any steps to make it better and get the most out of the session as possible? So this workout I do consider to be pretty tough. I don't think every workout, I'm pretty adamant about this, every workout does not need to be a headbanger. This one I would say is, 8 out of 10 RPE. And if you can complete all 3 sets, yeah, it's probably 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10, you'd be going more full tilt VO2 max days. 10 out of 10, you're totally dead to the floor. What I would say, though, is ask yourself, what is the fail point? And again, maybe it's not really a fail. What is the point that you're really having a struggle with, and adjust the workout? Now, I've said before, I don't necessarily agree in forums where people will talk about, hey, I'm doing this VO2 max interval, I can't complete it. And people are like, oh, just turn down the intensity a little bit. It's like, well, okay, if you turn down the intensity, then you're basically riding really short threshold efforts. I would say maybe turn down the duration. Maybe you can't do 20 minutes of whatever the work portion is of an interval set. Can you do 7? And then ride endurance, and then maybe the next time you do it, you get to 11 minutes and you work your way up. But I think there's sometimes too much of this, either I can or I can't, and we don't find the middle ground. Especially if you're self-coaching, sometimes it's hard to find that. You're downloading workouts, you get a training plan from somebody, it's not catered and tailored to you. And even if you have a coach, within each session, you need to give yourself a little leeway of how you're feeling. Maybe you go a little bit harder if you're feeling like Wonder Woman or Superman that day. On other days, maybe you have to go a little bit less. And then there's those days where you say, I just don't have it today. Work was super stressful. I'm just going to ride endurance. The only time it's a fail is when you just pack it in, because the number one reason is now when we circle back on this workout, we've made zero progress on it whatsoever. So here's what I would ask myself. Here's the action item. For me, this workout, when there's a version of it that has the hard start, I'm pretty good at that. You go into the over-unders, there's a middle surge that's like 130, 140% FTP. That's the stinger for me. It can really make my wheels fall off, where the later portion of the interval is tough. So what I would say to myself, okay, you know what, Brendan? First one, I did not complete as I would have liked to. Did I still get something from it? Definitely. For the next one, I'm going to take out that middle surge. I'm just going to do this as the, level 4 version. Okay. I'm going to do the hard start. I'm going to do the over-unders. I'm not going to do this high surge. And now when you do that, maybe let's give another scenario. Maybe the hard start is killing you. You could say, is it the watts? Or is it after 2 minutes, I'm just dead? Okay, you know what? This week, I'm doing the hard start at 2 minutes, and I can handle the rest. Or maybe you need to really scale it back. You say, hey, I'm doing the hard start at 2 minutes. You just started doing these, and I'm going to do just 8 minutes of work afterwards. And then next week, maybe you make it 10 minutes of work, and you keep it at 2 minutes. And then maybe 3 weeks later, you make it 4 minutes in the beginning, and you shorten. You just work within the parameters, because does it have to be so damn precise and exact? No, it doesn't. you can ask yourself, am I getting, if you want to get really granular, am I getting enough time over threshold to create the extra abundance of lactate and forcing myself to understand how to use that as fuel and get rid of all the fatigue and metabolites? And as you go through this, you're going to continue to grow. And there's going to be a time where you're going to say, okay, today is the day. I can do this whole freaking workout. And you get real hyped about it in your head. Don't waste too much energy beforehand. You eat right. And it might take you 6 weeks to get there. I've mentioned this a million times on the podcast for people. When Training and Racing with the Power Meter came out from Coggin, there were some workouts in the back of the book, and this was probably like 2010, I want to say, that we looked at. We're saying, are these even possible to do? Some of them we said weren't. And my friend Patrick Wally was going out, and he's like, damn it, I'm going to do one of these. And he had moved to Tennessee, and I can't remember which one at this point, but it was a 4-hour kitchen sink workout he had talked about. And he initially got through a quarter of it. Initially got through half of it. And when he did the first full thing, it wasn't all to the exact wattages, but it was this growth that he saw through the whole process. And you can use this to help fuel your training. I mean, it adds so much more excitement to it sometimes when you do have a struggle. So I would encourage you to not just shy away from the intervals that seem too hard at first, but okay, how can I tackle this? What am I good at that I can ace? And then what do I have to work on? And do I dial it back a little bit? Do I have to lower the intensity? But I just think over an entire set, you don't just want to say, oh, I'm just going to make it easier. Because then you can maybe not even be getting the point of the workout done. You know what I'm saying? So it is only a fail if you just quit, okay? And think of other things in your life, which is what I will close with. Did you get everything right when you got the new job or you got the promotion, or did you kind of slowly fail your way to success in that? And all the things that you know now, think back to day one, how much you didn't know and how many mistakes you made. So don't let the workout get the best of you, and get the best of this. And I think the excitement or the pride that we get when we crush a hard workout, think how awesome that's going to feel in 6 weeks when you crush this workout. Now, the last asterisk that I would say is, I don't think you want to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. So if you're failing with it a lot at the beginning, maybe it's just too hard, or maybe you need to work up on your VO2 max more. You just don't have that overpower, or, just think critically about how are you going from A to B. I use the word 6 weeks. It's obviously not going to apply to every type of workout, but what is the roadmap here? And then also, if you are a bike racer, does this fit in with your training plan for the events that you have coming up? Don't get hyper obsessed on completing this one workout if you have other key sessions that are necessary for your events. I think it's easy for us as athletes to want to be successful at these one things that we can sometimes forget to take a step back and look at the big picture and remember, hey, well, I've got this race in 4 weeks. I really need more X, Y, and Z, and I'm working on A, B, and C. Like, you might have to shelve it for a little bit, and that's okay. That's something you can earmark, and these are really cool things to work on in the off season. That there's some things in September, October, besides long rides that I like to do, or KOMs that I like to go for that I really don't have a chance at, because, hey, I get to work on something that's way out there that doesn't really apply to my racing, but it's fun to go after something different. So hopefully this helps you. Let's get it. Good luck with your training and racing. Check out the blog. Check out the videos if you need more help. It's all free. Crush it.